everybody, what's up? This is 8-Bit Eric, and recently Nintendo has been a topic of controversy in the news regarding their economic status and their financial situation and their lack of sales for the Wii U. And a lot of people have been talking about this topic. I've been working on this video for a while and now it's finally here. So today I am going to talk about Nintendo, what they need to do, what they shouldn't do, why they're going to be okay, and my opinion on their status as far as being in this gaming generation. So without any further ado, let's begin. Now, to begin with, what they need to do. Right off the bat, Nintendo should do a price cut. Yes, another one. They've already had one, which was $50. I say lower it to $225. Make the Wii U console $225. Keep everything the same. A small little price cut may spark some new interest in it. I don't think it would hurt. Sure, it would be lower than the amount of funds that they wanted to raise as far as Wii U sales go. But a price sale and a price cut always get people talking. So I think that would be the best option. And I'm sure parents would appreciate it. Number two, I think Nintendo should do a little bit better marketing than what they're doing now. It took almost a year for the commercials that they even show now to start floating around on TV. I never saw Wii U commercials. And the ones that are out are kind of generic. They really don't showcase what the system can do. It just shows a family talking and some kids showing why they should buy a Wii U, and they made a comedy thing of it. Nintendo's not the only company guilty of this. PlayStation 4, the commercials are a little bit silly too, with the singing and the fighting. Commercials need to showcase what the systems can do, in my opinion, and if they explained exactly why the Wii U is a deal or something to buy over the Wii or any console at the other time, sell your product. That's what the advertising's for. Market it. Show it in commercials. Show it in magazines. Show it on the internet. Increase the marketing. Let people know that the Wii U is a system for sale. A lot of people don't even know of the Wii U. I've talked to a lot of people that still never even knew Nintendo had anything past the Wii. That is bad. Number three is something that sounds like common sense. However, Nintendo has been guilty of it recently, and that's confirming solid release dates of games. One thing that came out recently after Nintendo Direct was the NES Remix game, which has had some critical acclaim. However, that was a surprise. They never announced it, never showed anything about it, never even discussed development of it. That game literally came out, boom, out of nowhere. Could you imagine if they advertised it or hyped it up or even showed a preview of it ahead of time? I think this would make people more aware of what games are coming out. A lot of people aren't aware of any release dates on the Wii U, and that's bad. If you look at old issues of Nintendo Power, they used to always keep people informed of the release dates. Unfortunately, there is no more Nintendo Power, and it's hard to find anything that's TBA or upcoming or spring 14 or quarter 4th 2014, anything like that. There's like no solid dates. I think that's a bad thing. Nintendo needs to start confirming release dates of their games. The next thing is something that I feel is very important, and that's throwing out speculation. I think Nintendo needs to start throwing out some, juice out there so people could get talking about the product. Throwing some rumors, some news, some gossip. For example, my favorite era of Nintendo, the Nintendo 64 era, when Zelda 64 was coming out, that thing was hyped everywhere. Every magazine, the internet was in its infancy, but every website had rumors about it. There were screenshots. Anytime any news came out on Zelda 64, it was huge. And then when it was announced as Ocarina of Time, it even got more bigger than that. And then when the game was released, it was hyped. There was rumors. There was people making up secrets. You remember when you were a kid and people were like, oh, you could play as, the princess naked in this game, and Luigi's in Super Mario 64. Start throwing out some speculation, start throwing out some hints, start doing cryptic stuff. People like it when Miyamoto gives little cryptic hints or little images. That gets people talking. I think Nintendo needs to go back to that. Now the next thing is something that a lot of people have said in their videos, and it's the thing that makes the most sense other than marketing, and that's differentiating between the Wii and the Wii U. A lot of people think the gamepad is an accessory for the Wii, which it's not, guys. It's a different system. It's HD. It has its own games, and it's something entirely new. And a lot of people are mistaken because the name, the Wii, Wii U, it's not really a difference. It sounds stupid, but a lot of the common consumers are not aware of this. A lot of the casual gamers are not aware of this, and that's something that is very, very, very crucial to the success of the Wii U. I think in order to do this, they need to showcase the features of the gamepad. They need to showcase the features of the Wii U, the apps, the games. They need to show that it's entirely different. And above all, they need to show why it's better to get a Wii U, because it's backwards compatible, which the other two consoles in this generation are not. It has all the Wii accessories compatible with it. Every single accessory for the Wii can be used on the Wii U. And not to mention the virtual console service is there, and it's booming. They have a lot of support for independent games. And it's HD, did I mention that? And it's very cheap compared to the other consoles. So Nintendo needs to do a little bit of more convincing and highlighting its upgrade reasons for the Wii. The next thing is another huge thing that people have been saying about Nintendo. They need to have more third-party support. Now, when the Wii U first came out, a lot of its games were early ports of Xbox 360s and PlayStation 3 titles, such as Arkham City, Mass Effect 3, and other games, Darksiders 2. And this was alright, but those games really weren't ported over greatly for use of the gamepad, aside from Arkham City. Now Nintendo needs to be able to convince third parties to develop exclusive titles. No more ports, guys. Exclusive titles is where it's at. Exclusive third-party titles. Yes, you have your first-party franchises, but you need to have something out there from a different company that is a system seller. And third-party support is crucial. The Wii U is lacking it. Nintendo, you need to find somebody to partner up with and make some exclusives. You started kind of with Sonic Lost World. That's an exclusive third-party game, but come on. You're heading in the right direction. Keep it up. The next thing is Nintendo needs to connect with non-Nintendo gamers. As hard as that sounds, those are the people that you want to buy the games. You're gonna get the Nintendo diehards to buy the Wii U already. But in order to get the numbers that you want, you have to convince the hardcore gamers and the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 crowd to buy a Wii U instead of the PS4 and the Xbox One. Now, in order to do that, you have to make news and information and game software information and highlights available. Yes, Nintendo has the Nintendo Directs, but once again, nobody's really aware of those other than the people that already are playing the Nintendo product. This goes hand in hand with the marketing and advertising and making people aware of your features. You need to reach out to the non-gamers. You need to find a way to make sure that they know when Nintendo Directs are going to happen. You need to hit up Twitter. You need to hit up social media, commercials. All this needs to catch the attention of the people who do not have a PS4, Xbox One, or Wii U yet, if you want to get Wii U buyers. For example, a lot of people I know that do not have any of the systems didn't even know what games were out on the Wii U. And people were wondering, where's all the first party games? You know, where's the good games? Where's the stuff that we want? When on a Nintendo Direct earlier this year, Iwata actually said that first party development was going to be held on hiatus until spring of 14 when the games would start coming up. Now we're seeing Donkey Kong come out, we've seen Smash Brothers already announced, Mario Kart 8's on the way, and all these other games are finally coming out. But people weren't aware that they were told that they were going to be on hold until those games were at their best, and that's not a good thing. People think that Nintendo's just not doing anything. They weren't aware, and they were under the wrong impression. So reach out to the non-Nintendo consumers that are thinking about buying. Last but not least on what they need to do is compete. Okay, sure, your software and your hardware are not as powerful as the other two systems, but Nintendo, people will buy if you compete. Give them a reason to. My favorite era of gaming was the 16-bit gaming era, where the Nintendo versus Sega stuff was just everywhere. Magazines, commercials, radio, nowhere where you went, you always heard about it. It was school ground talk. During recess, we would compete and talk about it. There was fights about it. And I think Nintendo would benefit from doing some Sega-style ad campaigning. Those Nintendo, versus Sega commercials that Sega does what Nintendo don't, and then Nintendo would have something right back. I think Nintendo needs to go a little grimy with their ad campaigning and compete. Highlight the system and throw a little bit of trash talk out there. Stop being scared. I think it'll get people talking. It'll get your attention for sure. And, hey, let's give the kids nowadays something to talk about. Now on to what Nintendo shouldn't do, even though they already are going to start doing it. Now, number one, they should not go mobile. A lot of people are trying to say Nintendo should release their games on the smartphones and on apps and just release them on iOS. No! Do not. That would be the worst thing that they could do, because you people are forgetting that the 3DS was the best selling console of last year. It sells the most, guys. And it's a heavy hitter. It's keeping Nintendo afloat. And it's a seller, and it's only looking brighter. So why would you release those games on a handheld console onto a portable? Or why would you even water down the virtual console games on the Wii U? Those games aren't going to play the same, guys. It's not going to be the same playing a Nintendo game that is supposed to be played on a controller on a touchscreen. It's going to be watered down. It's going to be hard to port. Nintendo has to actually make the port of the game. They have to develop it again. It's not as simple as throwing a ROM on something and having it playable. Now, there is emulators on systems, but Nintendo's not going to do that. It's a lot more than that. They build up the database. The virtual console has its own database of games and information, and they have to rebuild it. It's going to be worth more trouble than they get, and they're not going to be able to sell those games for full price, guys. They're not going to be able to sell them for $5. Nobody's going to buy Mario Duck Hunt again for $5 on the iOS. This would be a money waster. However, Nintendo is developing an app. They just released it. It's going to be interesting to see what it is. I think it's going to make people more aware of what's available. Maybe this will touch base with the non-Nintendo users. Maybe it's a news stream. Who knows what it is, but I am praying they do not release virtual console style games on the iPhone or smartphones or Androids or whatever it is. Do not go mobile. The only other thing that concerns me is Nintendo should not drop Wii U support just yet. There's a lot of life left in this system, believe it or not. There's a lot of features that are there that people are not aware of. I think there's a lot of stuff that has potential with the gamepad. A lot of games coming out that, if they're developed right, it could redeem the Wii U. I have a good feeling about it. Look at the 3DS. People thought it was going to fail, and it made a redemption. Come on, this is only the second year of the Wii U. I don't think it's time to give up on it yet. Now, here's why I think Nintendo is going to be okay. The big topic last month was their stock dropped immensely, and people were thinking Nintendo was going to fail. But guess what? Less than a week later, stock was back to normal, guys. Pretty close, if not just a couple percentage underneath. But now it looks like it's back to business. Their stock did not go terribly down, and come to think of it, I should have bought some Nintendo stock. But they're going to be okay, guys. They recovered quickly, and a lot of people did not report that they recovered. See, people were quick to report that their stock dropped, but nobody was quick to report that they were back to regular stock worth. Come on, guys. Also, think about it. It dropped 18% and it went back up in about a week or so. Nothing really changed publicly about the company. They didn't do anything. They just made an announcement that they were going to restructure their business model, and they're okay. Coming up next, I think that Nintendo is going to be okay because they got a lot of money in the bank, guys. They got $4.4 billion. That does not sound like a company that's going bankrupt, in my opinion. They're a business. They've been around for years, longer than the other two companies have been doing games. Don't forget, Nintendo knows business. They're not going to fail. Not to mention, guys, alone, in value as a company overall, Nintendo is worth more money than Sony itself. And Sony makes TVs, they make all sorts of devices, electronical. They're not just gaming, guys. Nintendo is not as bad as people think it is. It's not going to be bad. They're not in that bad of economic shape. Nintendo actually hasn't even had a lead in the console races since the days of the Super Nintendo. The Nintendo 64 competed with the PlayStation 1. The GameCube competed with the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox. And now the Wii competed with the PS3 and the Xbox 360, and the Wii U is now competing with the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. All those consoles were never really in the lead. The Wii sold a lot, but as far as being the underdog, Nintendo has been the underdog since the Super Nintendo days. And they've done fairly well. They've sold a lot of games and a lot of consoles, guys. Just because they're not number one doesn't mean that they're going bankrupt. Don't assume that. They're still very successful as a company. When people compare it to going the way of Sega and that they should do software only, dude, it's not that bad. They got their money. They're doing very successful with software. They keep innovating with their hardware. Come on, this is not something that Nintendo has never been in. The last few console generations, they haven't been on top exactly. So look at the past, guys. The list of games goes on. Nintendo 64, Ocarina of Time, Smash Brothers, Star Fox 64, Mario Kart 64. Those are the games that kept the Nintendo 64 alive. The GameCube also had Smash Brothers, had Paper Mario, it had Mario Kart, it had Wind Waker, it had Twilight Princess. The Wii had Wii Sports, it had Super Mario Galaxy. All those games did great for the Wii. Now the Wii U is going to have its great games coming up. Smash Brothers, it's going to have Mario Kart 8, and not to mention there's an upcoming Zelda game still in the works, Mario 3D World. Guys, Nintendo still has its great hits that are system sellers. Don't forget that. They develop great software. And always have. Not to mention, guys, you're forgetting that Nintendo took a big risk on one console. This sucker. They were alright after this. They're gonna be alright after the Wii U. Chill the fuck out. Another thing that helps Nintendo out is that they always stay different than what the market is. Why would everybody want everything to be hardcore gaming? That would be boring. Nintendo has always been innovative. They're not afraid to take changes or be different. They're not afraid to take chances. They're not afraid to take risk. They make innovations to every system. Sure, it seems gimmicky. The Wii seemed gimmicky. The Wii U seems gimmicky. Guys, why be the same as the consoles that are already out? If you're going to market yourself or compete, be different. Sure, people are casual gamers. Sure, people are hardcore gamers. There's going to be that for every console. But guys, just catering to one group is not good. Why would everybody want to just cater to hardcore gamers? The one crucial thing to remember is that Nintendo built itself on software. Its vast software library. Sure, they rely on rehashes and their memorable franchises, but any company would do that. That's like telling Disney they're not allowed to use the same characters over and over again in their merchandise. Come on, that makes no sense at all. In my opinion, there is nothing wrong with Nintendo relying on old, reliable franchises. Sell them, make shirts, make merchandise. Nintendo's already going to license its first parties for more merchandise. There's rumors of Legend of Zelda Lego sets coming out. And okay, yeah, they rehashed their games. Donkey Kong Country, okay. Mario Kart, okay. So what? A lot of people complain that there's not enough Mega Man games out there from Capcom, but there's like hundreds of them. There's more Mega Man games than Mario games. So what's up with the double standard, guys? The bottom line when it comes down to is Nintendo needs to just stick with what it does best, and that's make great games. Mario 3D World came out, kicked some ass. The future's bright for the Wii U. They keep developing games as great as that, get third-party support, and follow a great business model, which they've already made structures. Iwata's already taken that pay cut of half. Miyamoto's already taken a 30% pay cut. They're doing their job, guys. They're taking care of business, and they're going to be fine. And well guys, that's it for my take on Nintendo. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna have a different opinion, which that is great. That's what the internet and gaming community are all about, guys. But don't forget, I'm entitled to my opinion as well. Comment below, call me a fanboy, call me a hater. I don't care, because you know what? I'm standing by my belief that Nintendo is going to be okay. Even if the Wii U is not a success, there's gonna be something else coming up. They've already announced it. Nintendo's looking for a change to improve people's quality of life using non-wearable technology. So who knows what the heck that is going to be. In the meantime, Nintendo is always going to be around. They're going to innovate. They're going to make great games. So everybody just look at the bright picture. Don't believe everything you read on the internet or see. I mean, if you don't want to believe me, oh well, it's your opinion. I never once said that this was fact. But there's two sides to every story. A lot of news websites that report gaming news failed to mention the stuff that makes Nintendo look like they're doing okay. They're quick to point out stock drops, decrease of sales, pay cuts, but come on, look at the bigger picture. Gaming console generation, it's gonna be bright. Guys, just enjoy it. Make it about the games. Enjoy the games. It doesn't matter what system you pick. PS4, Xbox One, Wii U. Just have fun. Play the games. Everything back here, this is why I have a YouTube channel, for the games, guys. It's not a race. It's not a contest. Alright? Sure, everybody has their side. Sure, everybody represents their brand. Sure, everybody's going to defend it. But the bottom line that it comes to is gaming's not doing as bad as people think it is. There's little mistakes, but any business does that. And that's it for today, guys. Have a great day. Peace out.